Folks, Sue Sullivan, Anus Day, Selling Time in 25. Good morning, my friends. How's everyone feeling today? I said, how bows the Earl and Toe today? Because the level of your energy determines the level of your life. Let me tell you something that 2025 is screaming into our faces. Yet most people refuse to hear. The world is loud, but growth happens in silence. Everyone's posting, shouting, performing, chasing validation. But transformation, the real, lasting kind, it's quiet. It happens when you turn down the volume of the world and turn up the volume of your soul. Today, I'm not here to motivate you for 15 minutes and then let you fall back into your old story. I'm here to remind you of who the hell you are when you stop performing for approval and start performing for purpose. One, the noise trap. Think about it. We wake up, grab the phone, scroll, compare, doubt. You see someone's highlight reel and forget you're in your own movie, and that's the tragedy. We're living life reacting to noise instead of creating our own music. But write this down in your heart. Noise is the enemy of clarity. Every time you chase what's trending, you trade your truth for a temporary thrill. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 40 minutes, silence the world. Forget your notifications. You're to dose your fears. Because if you can't control your focus, you'll never control your future. 2, why 2025 demands focus this year. 2025 is not for the faint-hearted. It's for the ones who can stand still in chaos. AI is changing industries. Attention spans are shrinking. Distractions are multiplying. But guess what? Every revolution creates 2 kinds of people, those who drown in noise and those who rise in silence. Which one are you going to be? The people who win in 2025 won't be the loudest. They'll be the most disciplined. They'll be the ones who work quietly while others argue loudly. They'll be the ones building when nobody's watching. Because greatness doesn't announce itself. It reveals itself when the work is done. 3, the inner contract. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. I want you to picture the version of yourself you know you're capable of becoming, not the one the world expects, but the one your soul demands. Feel that person. See them standing there, calm, confident, powerful, grounded. That's the real you, the one hidden beneath years of noise and distraction. Now open your eyes. Make a contract with that version of you right now. I will no longer let the world's noise decide my worth. Say it out loud. Come on. The crowd repeats, that's it. Because power begins where permission ends. For my story, the moment of silence years ago, I was at the top of my game. Traveling, speaking, helping millions, but there was a moment, a single morning, when I realized I was surrounded by noise, applause, interviews, success metrics, and yet inside I was empty. So I did something radical. I disappeared for 7 days, no phone, no team, no schedule, just silence. And in that silence, I rediscovered something the noise had buried, my why. That's where every breakthrough begins, not in the spotlight, but in the stillness. 5 energy reset now. Everyone stand up. Shake your hands, move your body. Bring the energy back in, because your body is the fastest way to change your state. You cannot think your way into clarity while sitting in the same posture of distraction. You move first, clarity follows. You breathe deeper, strength follows. You stand taller, confidence follows. So as you stand there, say this with me. Oh, I am focused. I am calm. Crowd repeats again. I am focused. I am calm. I am unstoppable. That's the energy we need for 2025. Sick the promise by the end of this session, you're going to walk away with the power to control your focus, the mindset to stay silent and centered when everyone else is shouting, and a strategy to make this your most productive, peaceful, and purposeful year ever. Because your success will never be about how many people you impress. It will always be about how deeply you align with your mission. And the first step is silence. Pauses, softer tone silence is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of strength. When you're silent, you hear your instincts again. You remember your power, you reconnect with your truth. 7, closing the opening. So here's my question for you. Are you ready to focus on yourself this year? Are you ready to stop explaining, stop defending, stop performing, and start evolving? Then stay with me. Because the next 30 minutes, we're going to dive deep into the mechanics of focus, how to train it, protect it, and turn it into unstoppable progress. And remember this, when you learn to stay silent, your results will speak so loud the world will have no choice but to listen. Excellent. Here we go with the problem. Why people lose focus. You know what breaks my heart the most? It's not the number of people who fail. It's the number of people who almost win, but stop 2 inches before the finish line. They had the energy, they had the dream, but they lost the focus. Won the age of distraction. Let's be real, we're living in the most distracted generation in human history. We've got billion-dollar companies competing for our attention. Algorithms designed to keep us scrolling and voices everywhere telling us who we should be. You can't even take a deep breath without someone trying to sell you a better version of yourself. But here's the truth. You don't need a better version. You need a truer version. Every time you look outward for validation, you give away the steering wheel of your life. Every time you measure yourself against someone else's highlight reel, you shrink your own capacity for greatness. You think you're behind, but behind what? A timeline someone else invented. A fake standard built on filters and hype? Come on. You were not born to compete with noise. You were born to create signal. To the comparison trap, how many of you have ever felt that sense of anxiety, that tightness in your chest when you see someone else doing better than you? A crowd murmurs, right? It's okay to admit it. We've all been there. That emotion, that jealousy, that doubt, it's your inner GPS telling you you're focused on the wrong direction. When you compare yourself to others, you give up your power to improve yourself. Because comparison kills momentum, you start asking why them. Instead of what can I learn, I want you to hear this. The moment you stop comparing and start mastering, your entire life changes. 3, the addiction to noise. People say they want peace, but they're addicted to chaos. They say they want focus, but they can't handle silence. Why? Because silence forces you to meet yourself, and that's uncomfortable. We fill every moment with noise so we don't have to face our own thoughts. But that's like turning up the radio when your engine's making a weird sound. You don't fix the problem, you just drown it out. You want real growth in 2025. Learn to sit with your discomfort. Silence is not scary, it's sacred. For the myth of motivation, let's talk about motivation for a second. Because everyone says they just need more motivation. No, you don't. You don't need motivation, you need momentum. Motivation is a spark, momentum is a fire. Motivation gets you started, momentum keeps you going when motivation disappears. You know how many people watch motivational videos every morning and still don't take action? Because they're waiting to feel ready. But growth doesn't care about your feelings, it responds to your decisions. Write this down. Discipline will take you where motivation can't. That's the truth no one wants to hear. The moment you train your mind to act even when you don't feel like it, that's when you become unstoppable. 5, the energy leak every time you react to negativity. Gossip, critics, comments, you leak energy. You think you're defending yourself, but you're just feeding the noise. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them project their limits onto you. Your job is not to explain your path, it's to walk it. Your silence is your statement. Because when you're focused on your vision, you don't have time to argue with small minds. So stop trying to prove yourself and start improving yourself. Every "why are you so quiet" moment is proof that your energy is finally being spent wisely. 6ly, emotional awareness. You cannot master focus without mastering emotion. If your emotions control you, your focus will always drift. So what do? We start training emotional awareness like a muscle. Every morning, instead of scrolling, stop and ask, what am I feeling right now and why? Awareness creates separation between you and the noise. When you can observe your emotions without being owned by them, you take back your power. And once you own your power, no distraction, no algorithm, no negativity can pull you off course again. 7, breakthrough moment. Let me tell you something from 40 years of working with people. From billionaires to students to single parents, people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they're unfocused. They're trying to be everything for everyone. They say yes too often. They confuse being busy with being productive, and the result, their dreams become background noise. Focus is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. When you silence the noise, you start to hear your inner clarity whisper, this is what I'm here to do. And that whisper is your direction. 8, transition to the next segment. So the real enemy isn't your lack of skill, your lack of resources, or your lack of time. It's your lack of focus, stolen by the noise of the world. But the good news, you can take it back. You can rewire your brain for focus, rebuild your boundaries, and rise in silence. Because the people who learn to focus in 2025 will own 2030. As the music rises, crowd cheers up next. I'm going to show you the exact process of transformation, how to shift your state, rewrite your story, and build your strategy for unstoppable momentum. This is where silence becomes strength, the turning point. Reclaiming inner power and transformation. The lights dim a little, Tony's voice lowers, steady and resonant. You've seen what steals your focus. Now let's talk about how you take it back. One, the moment everything changes, every life has a hinge point. A second, when the story turns. Maybe it's the morning you wake up and say, enough. Maybe it's the night you look in the mirror and realize you've been waiting for permission that's never coming. For me, that hinge came the day I realized this. If I don't own my state, the world will own it for me. Focus isn't a gift. It's a decision followed by training. And training starts with your state. Two-statey story, this strategy, write this somewhere, burn it into your brain. Stay gay, steal or white, A-S-T-R-A-T-G-Y. Everything you do flows from those three words. If your state is weak, your story becomes negative and your strategy collapses. But when your state is strong, your story empowers you and your strategy becomes unstoppable. So let's break it down. 3, step 1, change your state right now. Stand tall. Take a big breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Again, you feel that? That's not just oxygen. That's energy entering your system. You can't solve a problem with the same physiology that created it. If you want a new result, you need a new state. People say they're tired, unmotivated. No, they're just in the wrong physiology. You slump, you breathe shallow, you tell your brain, we're tired. You stand tall, breathe deep, move with purpose. Your brain says, we're alive. Emotion creates emotion. Change your movement, change your mindset. That's why I get people jumping at my events. It's not hype, it's state management. When your energy changes, your focus sharpens. 4, step 20, rewrite your story. Now that your body's awake, let's awaken your story. Everyone here has a story they tell themselves about who they are. Some say, I'm not disciplined. Some say, I always get distracted. Some say, I'm just not confident enough. And then I want to challenge that because that's not your truth. That's your past pretending to be your identity. The story you tell will either imprison you or set you free. You can't build a new life with an old story. So here's your new story. I am the kind of person who keeps promises to myself. Say it again. Crowd repeats, that's it. Because when you keep promises to yourself, you build trust with your own soul. And trust is the foundation of unstoppable focus. 5, step 3, design your strategy. Now we move from vision to execution. Strategy is simple. It's a map for your energy. Ask yourself, what do I truly want? Why does it matter? What must I stop doing to get there? Most people fail not because they lack goals, but because they never subtract distractions. They add more apps, more hacks, more information, and wonder why they're overwhelmed. Success is subtraction. Clarity isn't about knowing everything, it's about knowing what to ignore. So here's the rule. If it doesn't serve your purpose, it's noise. That email, noise. That argument, noise. That doubt in your head, noise. Filter it out. Protect your focus like it's oxygen, because it is. 6, at the 90-second reset, when your focus drifts, and it will use what I call the 90-second reset. Step back. Breathe deeply 3 times. Ask, what matters most right now? And not in 5 hours, not tomorrow, right now? That question pulls you out of distraction and back into direction. Do that 5 times a day, and you'll train your brain to recover focus faster than you ever thought possible. 7, the power of decision. Every transformation begins with one moment of absolute decision. Not, I'll try. Not, I hope. A real decision that cuts off all other options. The Latin root of decision literally means to cut away. When you decide, you cut away distraction, excuses, hesitation. So decide right now, are you going to keep letting the world's noise run your mind, or are you going to master your focus? A crowd shouts response to that's it. Because once you decide, the universe starts rearranging itself in your favor. 8, the turning point exercise. Close your eyes again for a second. Think of one area in your life where you've been inconsistent. Your health, your business, your relationships, your mindset. Now imagine yourself 6 months from now, laser focused, consistent, calm, unstoppable. See it. Feel it. Hear it. What would that version of you be doing differently today? Now open your eyes and write that down, because that vision is your compass. That's the direction silence is taking you. 9, from control to flow. When you master focus, life stops feeling like control and starts feeling like flow. You don't have to force things, you align with them. You don't chase, you attract. You don't shout, you radiate. That's the power of silence. That's what makes you magnetic. 10, transition. So this is the turning point. We've moved from chaos to clarity. We've reclaimed the power of silence, the structure of focus, and the energy of momentum. Next, we'll take it further, from inner mastery to external strategy. We'll talk about how to build habits, environments, and systems that make focus automatic. Because success isn't about willpower, it's about design. The music swells, crowd cheers. The system building habits and environments for unstoppable focus. The system building habits and environments for unstoppable focus. Lights brighten, music fades. Tony paces the stage, hands wide open, voice firm and rhythmic. You've made the decision. You've changed your state, rewritten your story, found your turning point. Now let's make it real. Because here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. One, your environment always wins. You can have the strongest mindset in the world, but if your environment contradicts your vision, it will pull you back down. How many of you have ever gone to a seminar, got fired up, felt unstoppable, and then within a week, the fire's gone? A crowd murmurs agreement. That's not weakness. That's physics. Your environment is stronger than your intentions. You can't plant a redwood tree in a desert and wonder why it's dying. So look around your life right now. Who are you spending time with? What are you listening to? What's on your screen every morning? Because proximity is power. You become the emotional average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you hang out with people who complain, guess what you'll master? Complaining. If you surround yourself with people who are obsessed with growth, guess what you'll master? Growth. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about surrounding yourself with people who remind you of your potential, not your past. 2, build rituals, not resolutions. Resolutions are weak. Rituals are unbreakable. Anyone can make a list on January 1st. But the people who win in 2025 don't rely on motivation. They build rituals that make discipline automatic. Every day, you should have what I call your power hour, the first 60 minutes of your day when you control your focus before the world does. No phone, no news, no noise, just movement, gratitude, reflection, and intention. Why? Because the way you start your day determines the way you show up for the rest of it. If you begin reactive, you live defensive. If you begin intentional, you live creative. Write this down. Win the morning, win the day. 3, the rule of 3, most people fail because they try to do everything and end up doing nothing well. I call it the rule of 3 each day. Pick 3 things that truly matter and dominate them. Not 30, not 13. 3. Ask yourself each morning, what are the 3 outcomes that, if achieved today, would make me feel unstoppable tonight? And then pour your full attention into those. Focus is not about time management, it's about attention management. And when you master your attention, time multiplies. 4, create focus triggers. Here's a hack the top performers use. Triggers. Your brain loves associations. If every time you put on your headphones, you enter deep work mode, eventually that becomes automatic. If every time you light a candle or play a certain playlist, you train your brain. Now we focus, it obeys. That's why rituals work. They tell your nervous system what time it is. So design your own trigger. Maybe it's a word you say. Maybe it's the sound of a timer. Maybe it's just sitting in that one chair that means creation time. Train your environment to cue your best self. 5, guard your inputs. We live in a world of infinite information, but wisdom is subtraction. You have to guard your mental diet the same way you guard your physical one. If you eat junk, you feel sluggish. If you consume mental junk, negativity, gossip, fear, your focus dies the same way. Ask yourself daily, is what I'm consuming feeding my potential or my problems? Every scroll, every video, every conversation is programming you. So choose your inputs like your life depends on it, because it does. 6, the power of scheduling silence. Here's something 99% of people never do. They don't schedule silence. We schedule meetings, calls, deadlines, but not reflection. And yet silence is where your brain consolidates clarity. I take 15 minutes every single day to disconnect. No phone, no talking, no thinking, just being. That's where ideas are born. That's where the next level of your vision shows up. So block time for silence like it's a meeting with your future self, because it is. 7, progress, not perfection. Listen, you're gonna slip. You'll get distracted. You'll have off days. That's normal. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to stay consistent. Progress is messy. Growth is chaotic. But as long as you keep coming back to focus, you're winning. You don't need to do it all today. You just need to do something today that your future self will thank you for. Every small act of focus compounds into massive results. You don't notice it day to day, but 6 months later, everyone's asking, how did you do it? You did it by showing up quietly, consistently, relentlessly. 8, focus is a skill, not a personality. Stop saying, I'm just not a focused person. That's like saying, I'm just not a muscular person. No, you just haven't trained the muscle yet. Focus is a skill. Silence is a practice. And both can be learned. The more you practice silence, the louder your focus becomes. 9, transition. So you see, success doesn't require magic. It requires structure. When your environment supports your vision, when your rituals lock in your energy, when your triggers cue your best state, success becomes inevitable. Because systems don't care about mood. They don't care if you're tired or scared. They just work. And when you build them around focus and silence, you become unshakable. So Tony steps forward, voice softens. Now that you know how to build the system, let's close this journey with the most powerful piece of all, the empowerment close, where we bring everything together, focus, silence, momentum, and meaning. Because focus without purpose is direction without destination. Are you ready for that final push? A crowd cheers then. Let's finish this strong.